The road does not begin with the sound of wheels on asphalt. It begins with breath, with a hush of wind through prairie grass, with waves whispering across a northern shore, with cicadas rising from a Georgia dusk, or snowfall brushing pine boughs in Montana's stillness. It begins in absence of city noise, of clocks, of urgency, and in the ache of something longed for but not yet named. The United States is not just a country. It is a constellation of echoes and edges, wild spaces and mythic margins. Here, beauty arrives without warning. A canyon opens beneath your feet. A street musician plays a tune you remember before you've ever heard it. A stranger offers directions in a language you didn't know you spoke. Somewhere, a child skips stones on the Mississippi. A hiker disappears into red desert. A neon diner sign flickers to life at dusk. And the horizon is always calling. 1,000 skies, 1,000 routes. You are the traveler now. Welcome to the United States. From Zion's towering sandstone cathedrals to the dense hush of Appalachian trails, this land invites all without apology. It does not need to ask if you are ready. It simply opens itself, endlessly. In every corner, a story lingers. An abandoned church in rural Alabama, where gospel choirs once rang through the trees. A cafe in Chicago that housed underground jazz through Prohibition. A cold, quiet morning in New Mexico, where ancestral pueblo in ruins still hold their breath. Listen to locals. They'll tell you where the real food is and which turn not to miss at the Overlook. Say y'all in the South with kindness, and you'll be met with warmth. Give time to the wide spaces. They are not empty. They are ancient. Travel here is not only about the place. It's about the way the place changes you, slowly, subtly, permanently. The way the wind smells different when you're standing at the edge of something vast. The way silence in the wild hums louder than any city street. The United States cannot be seen in one lifetime, but today we begin. The land rises like a hymn, carved by time into towering cathedrals of stone. Canyon walls glow with the hush of ancient fire, russet, ochre, bone white, as if the earth itself remembers something sacred. In Zion, light performs a slow, golden theater. Morning slips between sandstone cliffs, spilling warmth into the hush of the canyon. Ravens coast on thermals high above the Virgin River, which hums its way through shadow and reflection. Step quietly here. The stillness listens. It gathers in cottonwood groves and echoes in narrow slot canyons where footsteps are muffled by sand. Even the breeze seems reverent. There's a story told in low tones about the early Paiute who knew this land not by trail, but by spirit. Following water and wind with no need for map or compass. Later, Mormon settlers named it Zion, a sanctuary, a promised refuge. But before all names, this was simply sacred ground. If you hike the Narrows, let the river lead you. You'll wade between walls that press close and tall, etched by centuries of quiet erosion. Wear sturdy shoes that can get wet. Be mindful of flash floods. They come swift and without mercy. Angels landing for the brave, rewards the cautious. The trail is steep, carved into rock, with sheer drops and chains to hold. Climb only if the sky is clear and your footing certain. But know this, even from below, Zion shows you everything. As night descends, the stars spill across the heavens and the canyon exhales. There's no need to speak. Here, silence is a language of its own. Granite rises like frozen thunder, vast and unmoving, as if the earth paused mid-breath and turned to stone. Yosemite is a cathedral built not by hands, but by ice and time, a place where waterfalls fall like long-held sorrows, and every pine needle hums with memory. El Capitan stands monolithic, a face of stone that climbers trace with chalk fingers and quiet resolve. Half-dome glows silver at dusk, the sky behind it deepening into indigo, like ink dropped into water. The Merced River curves softly beneath, as if trying not to wake the valley from some eternal dream. And everywhere, light moves gently, through sequoia groves older than recorded history, across meadows brushed by mule deer, along trails where bear tracks mark the morning. There's a patience here, a rhythm not bound by clocks. You walk slower, you listen longer. Long before cameras came, Miwok and Awanaki peoples walked these lands, giving names that held spirit, not ownership. Awani, place of the gaping mouth. They live with fire, not against it. Listen to the land like it was kin. John Muir called this the range of light, and he was right. But what he could never quite write, and what you'll only know once you stood among the ancient trees, is how the silence feels like a blessing. Not absence, but presence. If you visit in spring, let the snowmelt guide you to Vernal Fall, to Bridal Veil, to hidden cascades off lesser trails. Always carry water, and never feed the wildlife. Their wildness is their gift. Avoid weekends, if you can. Come midweek, in shoulder seasons, when the crowd's thin and the deer reclaim the path. And when night falls, let yourself look up. The stars over Yosemite do not simply shine. They linger, like the land. They wait patiently for you to truly see. Maui is the breath between waves, a pause in the rhythm of the Pacific. It is wind through sugarcane. It is sunlight caught in hibiscus bloom. It is a hush that comes after birdsong and before rain. This island doesn't just welcome you, it slows your pulse. The road to Hana winds like a long, green sentence. It curves through waterfalls tumbling in silver threads, through bamboo groves that creak and sigh in the wind, through coastline where the cliffs seem to weep directly into the sea. It is not a drive, but a surrender. At Haleakala Summit, just before dawn, the sky unspools in soft fire. You are above the clouds, among them, watching the world begin again. The silence there is profound. It feels like standing in the heart of something sacred. Long ago, the demigod Maui is said to have lassoed the sun from this very summit, slowing its flight to lengthen the day. It's a myth, yes, but when you stand there in that impossible light, it doesn't feel like a story. It feels like truth. Respect runs deep here. Don't take lava rocks. It is more than superstition. It is belonging. Don't step on coral. It lives. It breathes. Speak softly near sacred sites and learn a few words of Hawaiian, even just aloha and mahalo. They are more than greetings. They carry spirit. And when evening comes and the ukuleles hum across a beach fire glow and the trade winds cool your sun-warmed skin, you will understand. Maui is not just a place. It is a way of listening, a way of being still enough to feel the world move through you. The mountains here do not merely rise, they loom, jagged, ancient, still crowned in snow long after summer has softened the valleys. Glacier National Park is a place of deep glacial memory, where time wears a colder face and the air carries the quiet weight of ice. The Going to the Sun Road is no ordinary passage. It clings to cliff edges, winds through alpine passes and brushes the clouds. From its bends, waterfalls plunge like silver silk, and mountain goats pause mid-step, unbothered by your gaze. Below, the glacial lakes shimmer turquoise, as if lit from within. This land was shaped by ice, carved, sculpted, revealed. But long before the glaciers, the Blackfeet called a home. They spoke of spirits in the wind, of the mountains as ancestors. They still do. There's a legend of Two Medicine Lake, of a young warrior who vanished into its depths during a storm, becoming part of the water itself. The locals say you can still hear him when the wind sweeps low across the surface. Here, even myths are quiet. Pack layers. The weather turns without warning. And bear spray, not as fear but as respect. Stay on the trail. This isn't just for your safety, but for the ground itself. Fragile, alive, ancient. And if you come in September, the larches turn gold before the snow returns. In Glacier, you don't conquer a summit, you greet it. You don't check off trails, you trace them like a finger along the spine of something wild. At night, the stars burn clear and sharp and the mountain silhouette against eternity. And in that dark, unbroken silence, you'll find a different kind of stillness. Not the absence of sound, but the presence of something greater. Moab begins where the red earth opens like a wound beneath the sun. Stone arches rise as if the wind itself carved gateways for spirits to pass through, each curve etched by time and silence. This is desert, yes, but not empty. It pulses with presence. The air here is thin and warm, laced with dust and sage. It smells like sun-baked rock and dry riverbeds, like the memory of water and the whisper of wind moving through juniper. You feel small here, not in the way of fear, but reverence. In Arches National Park, you walk among giants. Delicate arch stands solitary against the sky, a perfect, improbable arc. Photographs do not prepare you. It's a stillness that speaks. The way the land holds its breath around it. Canyonland spreads wide like a dream unfinished. Mesas and gorges in every direction, like the earth cracked open to show its bones. It's said that Butch Cassidy once hid in these canyons, a shadow flickering behind sandstone walls. But older still are the petroglyphs, spirals, bighorns, handprints, carved by ancestral Puebloans who knew this place as a home, not a view. Start your hikes early. The heat builds fast, and there's little shade. Water is not a luxury here. It's law. Wear a hat. Step carefully. And never underestimate the quiet. It can disorient you or it can heal you. If it rains, even once, know the land changes. Flash floods come like sudden thoughts. Roads wash out. Trails vanish. Beauty here always walks beside danger. When evening arrives, the desert blushes purple. Ravens spiral into twilight, and the rock glows like coals before going dark. Stay long enough, and the silence will tell you something. Not in words, but in warmth, in shadow, in the shape of the wind. Hawaii is not just a place. It is breath, spirit, motion, a chain of islands born from fire, cooled by wind and blessed by rain. Here, the earth is still becoming, still glowing beneath your feet. You do not arrive, you are received. The rainforest speaks in whispers. Leave the sides of your arms shimmer in filtered light, and the apapane flits like a flame among high blossoms. The air smells of guava, rain, and salt. Everything is alive, even the silence. On the Big Island, Kilauea breathes slow and low. a goddess resting. Pele, the fire spirit, is not a myth but presence. Her story is etched into every cooled lava flow, her spirit carried in the steam that rises from the crater rim. Locals still offer lays at her threshold, still speak her name with reverence, stand at the edge of Volcanoes National Park, and feel the ground exhale. It's not fear, it's awe, the kind that humbles. On Oahu, the surf rolls like a heartbeat. Waimea Bay in winter is thunder and grace, wave after wave collapsing in salt spray power. But there's quiet, too, in Lani Kai's soft morning light, in the slow hands of a lei maker weaving memories from flowers. If you come softly. Do not honk your horn. Do not speak over the wind. Learn about aloha ina, love for the land, and let that guide your steps. Never take from the beaches, not even sand, what you carry away. The island will remember. And when the sun slips beneath the horizon, the ocean sings its low lullaby. You will sit in its rhythm and feel yourself dissolve just a little into something older, deeper, kinder. That is Hawaii, not a postcard, a living pulse. Lake Tahoe is a mirror held to sky. Its waters run so clear, so deep, that even the clouds pause to see themselves. Mountains circle the lake like sentinels, silent, snow-dusted, timeless, and the pines whisper in a language older than roads. There's a stillness here that moves. The water never hurries, even in the wind. In the early hours, mist curls across the surface like breath from a sleeping earth. It is cold, yes, but clean, healing in its clarity. Stories run deep in Tahoe's basin. The Washoe people called it the Au-Agie, the edge of the lake. For generations, they gathered at its shores, not for conquest or spectacle, but for ceremony, for life. Even now, when the motorboats fall silent and the paddleboards drift, you can still feel the old rhythms underneath. In winter, Tahoe becomes a haven of snowlight. Slopes soft and powder-lined, trees dress in frost. The crunch beneath your boots echoes like a drum in the woods. But in summer, the lake itself becomes a trail. Kayaks slide over emerald shallows, and the brave dive into water so clear it seems unreal. Swim only if you're prepared for the cold. Even in July, it bites. Wear sunscreen, not just for the sun, but for the water's reflection. Respect fire bans. This forest has burned before, and it remembers. And never park in undesignated spaces. Even wild beauty needs boundaries. In the northeast corner, hidden between rocks, you might find the remains of a stone tea house. Once part of a millionaire's estate, now claimed by time and lichen. Locals hike there at sunset just to sit and let the light fall across the lake like a benediction. Tahoe doesn't shout. It doesn't need to. It's a place that whispers. Come closer. Breathe slower. Leave softer than you arrived. Big Sur is where the continent dreams its last dream before slipping into the sea. Cliffs drop into crashing surf with a kind of wild poetry, and Highway 1 winds like a ribbon clinging to the edge of the world. Here, fog drapes the redwoods like memory, and silence is not the absence of sound. It's the sound of something vast holding still. The air tastes of salt and eucalyptus. Condensation beads on pine needles. A raven lifts from a cypress limb, black wings catching a current that rises from the sea's own breath. Every curve in the road reveals a new impossibility. A waterfall spilling straight into sand. A sunbeam-piercing cloud just long enough to gild the ocean gold. A bench placed nowhere, for no reason, except to sit and listen. Writers once came here to vanish. Kerouac, Jeffers, Miller, each trying to find something in the sound of surf below a night sky. But long before ink, the Esalen people made their lives among these trees, moving with fog and firelight, living with the land not above it. There's no real town in Big Sur, only gathering points, a general store, a lodge with a single pump of gas, a library built for poets and ocean light. It is a place that exists more in feeling than in infrastructure. Drive slowly. Fog can descend in seconds. Pull off only in marked places. The cliffs are beautiful, but they don't forgive and don't expect cell service. Instead, listen to the wind. Big Sur doesn't offer answers. It offers the question, what remains when you finally stop reaching and simply sit still? And as the Pacific stretches endless before you, that question may be all you need. Telluride is a secret whispered among the Rockies, a town folded deep in a box canyon, where cliffs rise like ancient guardians. Its streets are steep and narrow, lined with buildings that remember miners' boots and Victorian lamps, softened now by the slow tread of artists and dreamers. In winter, the slopes beckon with powder-whitened silence, so thick it seems to muffle even breath. But in summer, wildflowers spill from rocky ledges, and the San Miguel River hums a quiet song beneath bridges worn smooth by time. Long ago, you people called these mountains home. The land was sacred, a place of hunting and ceremony. Later, miners chased silver and gold, building towns that flicker with hope and hardship. Telluride's true wealth, though, is not in metal but in the way the land holds memory. There's a story of the Bridal Veil Falls, cascading nearly 400 feet, named for the delicate mist that rises like a veil over the canyon's edge. They say a bride once leapt into the waters below, her sorrow carried away by the river's current, a tale of love and loss woven into the very rocks. If you visit, dress in layers, mountain weather shifts like quicksilver. Respect local customs. Folks here value quiet and community. Try the farmer's market in summer, where the smell of fresh bread mingles with mountain air. As the sun dips behind peaks, the town lights glow soft and warm. And you'll feel it, the way this place holds you gently like a whispered secret. Telluride is not just a destination. It is an invitation to belong, if only for a moment. The Tetons rise abruptly from the valley floor, jagged spires that cut the sky with a fierce, ancient clarity. Grand Teton National Park is a place where mountains speak in silence, and the air tastes like cold stone and pine. The Snake River winds below, a silver thread through sagebrush and meadow, reflecting the peaks in glassy calm. Moose step quietly among willows. Eagles soar on thermals high above. Long before park rangers and tourists, the Shoshone people lived in this land, reading the seasons like a sacred text. They called these mountains Wenat, meaning many pinnacles. To them, the peaks were not just landmarks, but living ancestors. There's a quiet legend of the Snake River overlook, a spot made famous by Ansel Adams' photograph. Locals say if you stand there at dawn, you can hear the mountain's breath. Feel the pulse of earth beneath your feet. When you visit, tread lightly. Stay on trails to protect fragile wildflowers and nesting birds. The weather can change suddenly. Bring layers and waterproofs. And respect the wildlife. Keep a safe distance, especially from bears and moose. As evening falls, the sky deepens into indigo, the stars bright and sharp as splinters. Grand Teton doesn't rush. It waits. It waits for those who come quietly, who listen, who remember that here, the mountains are not just seen, they are felt. Honolulu is the heartbeat of Hawaii, where ancient rhythms meet the pulse of a modern city. Palm trees sway against skyscrapers, waves crash on golden shores, and the scent of plumeria floats through the warm air. This city is a mosaic of cultures, stories, and spirits that shape its restless, vibrant soul. Walk down Waikiki Beach just before dawn, when the world feels soft and new. Surfers glide on gentle waves, their silhouettes tracing silent arcs against the waking sky. Fishermen cast nets off piers built on bones of old reefs. Their patience is steady as the ocean's breath. Honolulu carries a history both bright and heavy. It was a seat of Hawaiian royalty, the heart of an empire lost to time and tide. It was a site of war and resilience. The echo of Pearl Harbor still lingers in quiet corners and memorials, a reminder that beneath the sunlit streets lies a deeper story. There's a lesser-known tale of Kamehameha I, the warrior king who united the islands. His battles were fierce, but his vision was peace, a lesson carried forward by the people who still live with aloha in their hearts. If you wander beyond the tourist paths, you'll find farmers' markets bursting with tropical fruit, small temples tucked between busy streets, and elders who greet you with a smile and a story. Respect the aina, the land, and honor local customs. Learn to say mahalo and carry aloha with you. Avoid touching sacred sites and never remove anything from nature. As the sun dips low, the city lights shimmer like stars falling to earth. Honolulu hums with life, a place where every moment is both beginning and memory. Here, you don't just visit, you become part of the story. Yellowstone is a land of smoke and steam, a place where the earth exhales in plumes of white, and the ground bubbles with hidden fire. Here, the air tastes of minerals and ancient heat, and the landscape shifts in ways both violent and beautiful. Geysers erupt like clockwork, sending towering columns of water skyward. The grand prismatic spring blazes in surreal blues, oranges, and greens, a pool of liquid light held in the palm of the earth's hand. Elk call in the valleys. Bison wander across open plains, their presence both majestic and enduring. Long before Yellowstone was a park, it was home to the Nez Perce and other native tribes who move with the seasons and listen closely to the land's warnings. The park is a sacred place, alive with stories of survival and spirit. There's a little-known tale of Steamboat Geyser, the tallest active geyser in the world. It can erupt without warning, sometimes for days, a reminder that the earth beneath Yellowstone is never still, never tamed. Visit in early morning for quiet moments when the mist rises and the wildlife stir. Respect the rules, stay on boardwalks, keep distant from animals, and never throw anything into the springs. Each step is a pact with preservation. Winter turns the park into a hush of snow and ice, while summer fills it with wildflowers and wandering bears. Layers are essential. The weather changes like the geysers, sudden and dramatic. When night falls, the sky opens into a tapestry of stars so bright you can almost hear their ancient song. Yellowstone reminds us that beneath every surface lies fire, beneath every silence a story waiting to erupt. Here the earth speaks, if you are quiet enough to listen. Sedona is a place where earth and spirit blur. Red rocks rise like ancient sentinels, catching the sun's fire and holding it deep in their bones. The air hums with something unseen, a pulse that draws pilgrims, artists, and wanderers alike. The vortexes here are said to be centers of energy, places where the veil between worlds thins. Whether or not you believe, you cannot deny the power of this land. The way the wind whispers through juniper, the way shadows play on the jagged cliffs, the way the sky stretches wide and endless. Long before tourists came, the Yavapai and Apache called this land home. Their stories speak of harmony and respect, of living as part of the earth's breath, not apart from it. Walk the cathedral rock trail slowly. Feel the crunch of sandstone beneath your boots, the heat of the sun on your skin. Bring water. The desert does not forgive carelessness. Pause often. Let the silence seep into your bones. At sunset, the rocks blaze a fierce orange, as if the earth is igniting from within. Sedona does not rush. It invites you to slow down, to feel deeper, to listen. In this quiet fire, you might find what you did not know you were seeking. Or perhaps, simply a place to rest. Key West is where the Atlantic sighs into the Gulf, and time drifts as lazily as the palm fronds overhead. The island hums with salt and sun, with a mingling scent of jasmine and sea spray. This is a place softened by water and light, where every breeze carries a story. The streets of Old Town ripple with color, pastel houses leaning into one another as if sharing secrets, iron balconies draped in bougainvillea. Conchs move at their own pace, their laughter echoing in bars and cafes, where Ernest Hemingway once drank, wrote, and wandered. But beneath the festive surface, there's a quieter history. Key West was once a haven for wreckers, salvagers of ships lost to the reefs, skilled and often fearless. Their lives were tied to the sea's mercy and fury, a dance between survival and the unknown. At Mallory Square, as the sun sinks low, locals and travelers gather for the daily ritual, clapping as light dips beyond the horizon. It's a moment of gratitude, a soft farewell to the day. Respect the island's delicate ecosystem. Avoid stepping on coral reefs when snorkeling, and be mindful of the heat. Shade and hydration are your allies. Learn a few words in local vernacular. A warm "how you doin'" will open many doors. As night falls, the stars shine low and close, reflected in the calm waters. Key West invites you to slow your breath, to lean into the rhythm of the waves, and to remember that sometimes the most profound journeys happen not in miles, but in moments. The Grand Canyon is a wound carved by time's relentless hand, a vast cathedral of stone and shadow. Walls rise in layers of ochre and rust, bleeding into one another like the pages of an ancient book. The Colorado River threads the canyon's depths, a silver ribbon winding through silence and sun. Light shifts here like a slow symphony. Dawn paints the cliffs in soft pinks and gold. Noon burns with harsh clarity, and twilight drapes the gorge in violet shadows. Every moment reveals a new secret. The Havasupai people have lived here for centuries, carrying water and stories down from the rim to the turquoise pools hidden deep in the canyon's heart. Their resilience is etched in every stone and every step. If you hike below the rim, prepare for silence that swells in the spaces between your breath and the crunch of your boots. Water is precious. Respect the land and the people who call it home. From the south rim, the view stretches endless, a testament to nature's fierce, slow artistry. Stay for sunset if you can. Watch as the canyon breathes in the fading light, holding memory and mystery in its vastness. The Grand Canyon is not merely a place. It is a reckoning, a reminder of how small we are and how wide the world can be. Las Vegas rises like a mirage born from desert heat, a city of lights, sound, and relentless motion, where the night never quite surrenders to dawn. The Strip dazzles with neon and gold, a boulevard of illusions that flicker between fantasy and reality. Yet beneath the glitter and noise, there's a quieter pulse, an echo of desert vastness trapped within glass and steel. Walk beyond the casinos, and the desert waits, wide and silent, endless under a sky so dark the stars spill like spilled ink. Las Vegas was once a stopover for weary travelers, a resting place before the vast unknown. Now, it is both stage and refuge, a place where fortunes are won and lost in the blink of an eye. The city's history hums beneath the bright lights, the story of a small railroad town that grew into a beacon of chance and escape during the Great Depression. The Rat Pack's laughter still lingers in smoky lounges, and hidden speakeasies tell tales of rebellion and resilience. If you visit, pace yourself. The heat is fierce, the night's electric, and the crowds relentless. Stay hydrated. Explore the Fremont Street experience for a glimpse of old Vegas charm. Venture outside the city for the Valley of Fire or Red Rock Canyon, where the land whispers stories untouched by neon glow. Las Vegas can overwhelm or enchant. It depends on how you listen. Look beyond the dazzle. You'll find moments of unexpected beauty. Sunsets that bleed fire, quiet corners where the desert air seeps in, and people dreaming beneath the same vast sky. In the city of illusions, remember, sometimes the most real things are found in the spaces between the lights. San Francisco is a city of contrasts. Fog and sunshine, hills and bays, history and restless reinvention. Its streets rise and fall like waves, lined with painted ladies and old brick, a patchwork quilt stitched with stories. The Golden Gate Bridge stretches like a promise across the mist, its orange towers slipping in and out of fog like silent sentinels. The salty air mingles with the scent of coffee and sourdough, and cable cars clang their way through narrow, twisting avenues. This city has long been a refuge for dreamers, exiles, artists, and revolutionaries. The beat poets once roamed its alleys, their words swirling like the fog. The summer of love bloomed in Haight-Ashbury, a kaleidoscope of hope and rebellion. Beneath its modern buzz, San Francisco remembers its past. The gold rush fever that built fortunes and heartbreak. The Chinatown alleys where whispers of old worlds mingle with new. The resilience born from earthquakes and fires. Walk slowly. Pause at Dolores Park to watch the city unfold beneath you. Visit the Ferry Building Farmers Market, where flavors of Pacific mingle with voices from around the globe. Respect local customs. San Francisco's diversity is its heartbeat. At sunset, find a spot by the bay. Watch as the sky deepens and the city lights flicker to life. Here, you'll feel the pulse of a place forever on the edge, of possibility, memory, and becoming. Niagara Falls is thunder made visible, an endless cascade where water and air collide in a mist of ancient power. Here, the river roars with a voice as old as the land itself, carving cliffs and stories into the earth with relentless force. The falls are a symphony of movement, light, and sound, a place where time seems both suspended and rushing forward. From the American side, the water plunges with a primal grace, curtains of liquid glass catching rainbows in their spray. On the Canadian shore, the Horseshoe Falls curve by a giant embrace, vast and wild. In every drop, you feel the pulse of nature's raw heartbeat. Long before tourism and turbines, the Haudenosaunee people revered this place as a thunder of waters, a sacred site where spirits dwelled and the land spoke in thunderous tongues. Legend tells of Lullawalla, the maid of the mist, who sacrificed herself to the fall's power, a tale of courage and transformation carried by the mist. Visit early morning or late evening to avoid crowds, and always eat safety signs. The power here is beautiful but unforgiving. Boat tours bring you close to the roaring waters. Be prepared to be drenched, humbled, and awed. The surrounding parks offer quiet moments. Trails that wind through forests where the roar dims to a distant echo and wildflowers nod in the breeze. Niagara Falls is not just a spectacle. It is a place of reverence, where water reminds us of our smallness and strength, our fragility and endurance. Standing here, you might understand something about the flow of life itself, how even the most unstoppable forces begin as a single drop. Charleston is a city where the past lingers like the sweet scent of magnolia blossoms drifting through warm, humid air. Its streets are lined with pastel-colored homes, wrought iron balconies, and cobblestones worn smooth by centuries of footsteps. Here, history breathes in the soft chatter of porches and the creak of wooden shutters. The harbor glistens with salt and memory, a gateway once bustling with ships bound for distant lands, carrying goods, dreams, and sorrow. Charleston's story is stitched with triumph and pain, a tapestry woven with threads of enslaved peoples, settlers, and freedom seekers. Beneath the genteel charm lies a city that holds its truths quietly, like the forgotten stories of the Gullah culture, whose language and traditions still echo in the Lowcountry. There's a tale of the Angel Oak, a sprawling live oak tree rumored to be over 400 years old, standing as a silent witness to the land's layered history. Walk slowly through the French Quarter, where art galleries and jazz bars hum with life. Savor the spicy warmth of local cuisine, where shrimp and grits tell stories of sea and soil. Respect the neighborhoods and listen deeply. The city whispers if you are willing to hear. In the evening, the glow of gas lamps casts long shadows on the Charleston streets. The air hums with a gentle pulse, a heartbeat that carries both history and hope. Here, beneath the moss-draped oaks and the endless southern sky, you may find a place that feels both like a beginning and a remembrance. Aspen is a quiet rebellion nestled deep in the Rocky Mountains, where golden aspens shimmer like flames against rugged peaks and sky stretches wide and pure. The air here carries the crispness of snow and pine, a freshness that seeps into your bones with every breath. This town moves to a slower rhythm, one marked by whispered breezes and the crunch of boots on fallen leaves. One's a silver mining camp, Aspen transformed into a haven for artists, skiers, and dreamers who found refuge in its mountain embrace. The town wears its history lightly but proudly. Old saloons stand alongside sleek galleries, the past and present mingling like mountain streams. There's a legend of the Maroon Bells, twin peaks that glow rose and purple at dawn and dusk, said to be the spirits of two star-crossed lovers turned to stone, a silent testament to love's endurance. Hiking trails wind through aspen groves that rustle like soft applause, and winter slopes invite the bold to dance on snow. But the real magic lies in moments of stillness. A sunset bleed across the valley, a solitary eagle soaring above, the scent of cedar carried on a cool breeze. Visit in fall for the golden spectacle or winter for pristine snow. Either way, dress in layers and respect the fragile beauty of this place. Support local artisans and savor mountain fare, that taste of earth and tradition. Aspen invites you not just to see but to feel, to find warmth in the cold and peace in the wild. Here, the mountains do not simply surround you. They hold you gently, like an old friend's embrace. New Orleans is a song sung in the language of jazz and rain, of Creole spices and river tides. The city breathes rhythm in every street, where wrought iron balconies drip with ivy and laughter spills from open doors. Here, the air is thick with history and magic, a place where sorrow and celebration intertwine like a slow dance. The Mississippi moves like a slow pulse beside the French Quarter, its muddy waters carrying stories of pirates, exiles, and dreamers. The city wears its scars proudly, surviving storms and struggle, weaving resilience into every melody. Long before the jazz bands and Mardi Gras parades, the The Choctaw and Houma peoples lived on this land, honoring the river and earth in sacred ceremony. There's a whispered tale of the St. Louis Cemetery, where voodoo queens and poets rest side by side, their legacies alive in the city's heartbeat. Stroll down Royal Street as afternoon light warms the bricks. Pause for a beignet dusted with powdered sugar, and listen to a trumpet's mournful cry echoing through a narrow alley. Respect the neighborhoods. New Orleans is a mosaic of communities, each with its own rhythm and story. Learn a few words in Cajun French. It's a key to connection here. As night falls, the city hums with life and memory, a place that invites you to join the dance, to carry its stories in your own heartbeat. New Orleans does not just live, it sings. And once heard, its song stays with you forever. Gatlinburg sits at the doorstep of the Smoky Mountains, where mist weaves through ancient trees like a secret whispered across time. This town, a gateway to wildness, hums softly beneath the towering peaks draped in blue haze, the smoke that gives these mountains their name. The air is thick with pine and earth, alive with the chatter of creek water and the rustle of leaves. Trails wind through forests where black bears roam, and rhododendrons bloom like bursts of flame against the green. Long before cabins and tourists, the Cherokee lived here, moving with the seasons and honoring the land's rhythms. Their stories still echo in the hollows and ridges, in the place names and the quiet reverence that lingers. There's a local tale of a hidden waterfall, known only to those who listen, a place where the water sings clear and cold, and the air feels electric with old magic. If you explore the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, tread lightly. Stay on paths, carry water, and respect the wildlife. The bears are curious but wild and the forest delicate. In the fall, the mountains blaze with color, a fiery crown that draws visitors from far and wide. Winter hushes the land, blanketing it in snow and quiet. Gatlinburg is a place to breathe deep, to slow down, and to remember that nature is a story told in light and shadow. Here, every mist-shrouded morning feels like a new beginning. Chicago is a city of bold angles and wide horizons, where glass towers rise beside the calm sweep of Lake Michigan. The wind carries a chill and a promise, weaving through streets alive with the hum of life and the echoes of history. Here, the city breathes a rhythm both fierce and tender, a heartbeat shaped by dreams and determination. Walk along the lakefront early, when the water stretches vast and silver beneath a pale sky. The scent of roasted nuts mingles with the distant honk of trains, and the skyline reflecting puddles from a passing rain. Chicago's story is etched in its neighborhoods, the blues that pour from jazz clubs, the art that colors every corner, and the resilience born from fire and reinvention. After the Great Fire of 1871, the city rose like a phoenix, stronger and taller than before. The story of Jane Addams and Hull House lives quietly in the city's soul, a reminder of kindness and community amid the urban rush. And beneath it all, the river snakes through concrete canyons, a lifeline and a witness to centuries of change. If you visit, take the time to explore beyond the loop. The warmth of Pilsen's murals, the rhythm of Bronzeville's jazz, the taste of Little Italy and Chinatown. Dress for the wind, especially in spring and fall. Respect the city's pulse, sometimes frenetic, sometimes peaceful. As dusk falls, watch the city lights ignite like a constellation come to earth. Chicago is a place of stories, both told and untold. And standing here, you become part of its living narrative. Myrtle Beach stretches like a soft breath along the South Carolina coast, where the Atlantic rolls in gentle, endless waves. Here, the horizon feels close enough to touch, and the sky is often brushed with the faintest pinks and golds, like a watercolor that never fully dries. The boardwalk hums with life, laughter rising from arcades, music drifting from beachfront bars, the scent of salt and sunscreen woven into every step. Families stroll with melting cones, gulls wheel overhead, and the carousel spins slowly beneath a sky turning to dusk. Yet just beyond the bright lights and carnival clamor, there's a quieter world. Marshes where herons glide above still waters, trails where sandpines creak, and the breeze smells of wild mint and earth. The Waccamaw people once called this coast home, navigating these waters with wisdom and reverence long before the modern skyline appeared. There's a tale of a ghost named Alice who wanders the shore near Pawleys Island, said to warn of coming storms. Some still claim to see her just before hurricanes, a soft figure in white, half real, half mist. Visit with patience and respect. Watch for sea turtles nesting in the summer months. Their journey across the sand is a sacred one. Avoid walking on the dunes, where the grasses hold the beach in place like thread in a fragile tapestry. As night settles, the waves continue their hush-hush rhythm, smoothing the day into memory. Myrtle Beach invites you to rest, to breathe, to listen, because sometimes even joy wears a quiet face of the sea. Miami Beach glows like a dream cast in sun and neon, where ocean waves meet Art Deco lines and palm trees sway like dancers in slow motion. The sand is warm, the breeze carries the music of many tongues, and the light, oh the light, turns even the simplest moments into cinema. South Beach pulses with color. Turquoise lifeguard towers, pastel buildings with porthole windows, scooters buzzing past sidewalk cafes. The Atlantic glimmers just beyond it all, always moving, always waiting. Yet beneath the dazzle, there's depth. Cuban coffee brews strong in quiet kitchens. Haitian murals speak of memory and resilience. Jewish delis hum with the comfort of old recipes passed down like heirlooms. This is a place where cultures don't just meet, they blend and bloom. There's a story of the old Fontainebleau Hotel, a palace amid century glamour, where Sinatra sang and secrets danced in whispered conversations behind velvet ropes. If you come, rise early. Watch the sun lift from the sea. It's quieter than golden, honest. Hydrate, respect the coral reefs, and leave no trace on the sand. Let the rhythm of the streets lead you, but remember to listen, not just move. Miami Beach doesn't ask you to become something. It asks you to reveal what you already are, under the light, by the sea, bathed in warmth and wonder. Portland is a city that breathes in green, where moss climbs the bricks and rain drapes the trees in silver hush. The scent of damp earth and fresh coffee lingers in the air, and the streets feel softened by quiet rebellion. Beneath the canopy of fur and cloud, art blooms in alleyways. Murals spill across concrete. Poetry slips from open windows. There's a gentleness to the way Portland moves, slower, deliberate, like a bike coasting downhill at dusk. Once, this land belonged to the Chinook and Multnomah peoples, who fished the rivers and honored the rhythms of the seasons. Their legacy lingers in the flow of the Willamette, in the shape of the hills, in the names we sometimes mispronounce but still carry. There's a story of the Shanghai tunnels beneath the old streets, a maze of shadowed passageways where sailors vanished and stories were stolen. Some say the ghosts still echo down there, in the low thud of footsteps and a sudden chill. Visit Powell's City of Books, where time disappears between pages. Sip something strong in a cafe strung with fairy lights. Wander Forest Park after the rain. The silence there feels sacred. Portland invites you not with spectacle, but with sincerity. It doesn't shout. It hums. And if you hum along, you just might find something you didn't know you'd lost. Seattle is a city cradled between mountains and sea, where the clouds seem to linger just long enough to soften the light. It's a place where ferries glide across gray waters and evergreens lean into the wind like guardians of the coast. Rain is not an interruption here. It's a rhythm, a language. Drops whisper on window panes, coat the sidewalks, bead gently on the sleeves of flannel jackets. The city blooms in this quiet moisture, moss climbing stone walls, ferns unfurling in alley crevices, a lushness tucked into every shadow. Seattle's heartbeat lies in contrasts. Glass towers rising above old red brick markets, grunge echoing in the footsteps of tech, the roar of espresso machines competing with seabirds. You'll find it all at Pike Place. Fish flying through the air, buskers strumming heartbreak and hope, the scent of spice and sea tangled together. Long before the skyscrapers, this land belonged to the Duwamish people, who lived beside the rivers and spoke to the tides. Chief Seattle, for whom the city is named, once said that the earth does not belong to us. We belong to it. That truth still lingers in the mist. There's a tale of the Fremont troll beneath the bridge, a concrete sentinel clutching an old Volkswagen, born from local legend and whimsy. And in the city's hills, every winding street feels like it might carry you into another story. Dress in layers, sun and rain often share the same hour. Take the ferry to Bainbridge for a view of the skyline rising from the sea. And when night falls, find a rooftop, listen to rain, and watch the lights dance on the sound. Seattle doesn't demand your attention. It invites your presence, gently, always like the rain. Traverse City rests at the edge of Lake Michigan's northern reach, where the water shimmers like liquid glass and the air carries the scent of cherries and pine. This is a place shaped by seasons, crisp autumns ablaze with color, soft summers humming with bees, winters hushed by snow. The bay curls gently against the land, its turquoise depths revealing the quiet confidence of fresh water. Sailboats drift lazily past sleeping bare dunes, where ancient sands rise like frozen waves, whispering legends carried by the Anishinaabe people, who once walked this shoreline with reverence and grace. There's a local tale of a mother bear and her cubs, crossing Lake Michigan in a storm. The cubs sank beneath the waves, and the mother waited on the shore. The islands now called North and South Manitou are said to be their resting places. The dunes, her silent vigil. Wander the trails where birches lean like soft-spoken storytellers. Visit in July when cherries ripen, staining fingers and laughter alike. In winter, the snow falls like memory, layering the land in quiet absolution. Support the farmers' markets and local vintners. Their offerings taste of the soil and sun. And when the light fades over the bay, pause and watch it go. Traverse City teaches the art of stillness. Here, in this small town by a great lake, you may find that the loudest truths arrive not with thunder, but in the hush between waves. Tybee Island is the kind of place where time walks barefoot, where tides pull slow dreams through salt marsh and sea oats, and every breeze carries a hush, like the breath before a prayer. The Atlantic touches this barrier island with soft hands, leaving behind seashells and stories in the sand. Driftwood lies tangled on the shore like old poems written by the sea. The lighthouse stands watch, its beams sweeping across dunes and rooftops, steady as a heartbeat in the quiet dark. And in the mornings, the sky opens in blush tones over the water, a gentle unveiling of the day. Long before vacationers came with sun hats and coolers, the Muskogee Creek people knew this land, fished these waters, watched the moon tug at the tides. The island remembers them, in the way the marsh sighs, and the flight path of pelicans skimming the waves. There's a story here, too, of pirates who once had treasure in the live oak groves, their ghosts said to wander the shores at dusk. Locals say if you listen carefully, you might hear old songs carried on the wind. Be kind to this place. Keep your distance from nesting turtles. Leave only footprints, and speak softly in the presence of herons. Tybee doesn't ask for much, only your attention. As the sun melts into the sea and the stars blink awake, you may feel the world fall quiet inside you. Here, at land's gentle edge, you are the traveler now,